The most bamboozling part of this map.
I can only imagine how much time the map developer put into adding those key features there,
It's
Jim.
never been noticed.
I'm actually going to email Matt Wood and ask him. He's the one responsible for that.
The CSGO developer, Matt Wood?
Yeah, Matt Wood. At
From
Matt
Valve?
Wood. And I want to know why.
Okay, well, whilst you do that, what we might do is we just remind everyone that the knife round is now going live. So we'll see both teams vying it out. Chris, I mean, you offered some perspective about the game styles before. What about in terms of the T and CT balance?
I actually don't know what you're trying to say.
Do you think it's more of a T map or CT map?
If you know what you're doing, it favors.
You are the coach of Renegades, right, Chris? Just to clarify.
You do have the right.
It favors the team that knows what they're doing more than the other team.
Okay, so perhaps suggesting that the team that's had more time to practice will feel more comfortable regardless of which side they start. Now, we know that, of course, X5 are a new lineup, only been together 2 to 3 weeks, whereas Chiefs have been together the first 6 months. So perhaps Chiefs will be happy regardless of which side they start. In this case, it will be the counter-terrorist side. And Jim, we saw them have a lot of success on the counter-terrorist side at the domestic league against Team Immunity in the grand final.
We did. I think they won that half 12-3. Now, we raised that question, would 12-3 be enough? As it turns out, it wasn't. But, nonetheless...
It kind of was.
They won in overtime is what we're suggesting. It wasn't enough to win in regular time, but they did win in overtime.
But it was enough to win overall.
Yes.
Yeah, it was enough to win overall, but in the context of that half of CS and that match within regular time, it wasn't.
Jim, the match is going to be over, mate, before you finish talking, honestly.
We still got to talk about how you lose 20 HP with grenades.
I'm looking forward to that. In any case, I think you might need a little bit more time. Maybe email Matt Wood again and ask for some
deep fact for you
clarification.
guys, just before we get the pistol off and kicking. That little inside oil train, Trident call that dildo train.
We call it oil train.
In any case, we do see Chiefs here. They do have 4 armor and 1 kit in the hands of Lightstep. He does have a couple of flash grenades as well. And you can see Exile5 though. They've thrown a lot of decoys around the map. If you were to look at the overlay, you'd probably see about 10 yellow dots there to suggest that I think every player had bought a decoy grenade to start the round, trying to perhaps create some confusion within the ranks of Team Chiefs. But they will now slowly make their way inside. But crucially, Chiefs, Chris O'Well here getting so much information. He can hear the footsteps of both Dans and STV running towards the inside or B bomb site. Of course, it goes by both names here and now. Seen, you can see he is on the flank. He will catch STV off guard in the backs now. And X5 know the game is up. They know they've got defensive members in front and behind them. They've got no option here but to commit to inside and really hope to make the frags. Susi taking what felt like an eternity there to click on the head of Ferg, but eventually gets the job done and looking very much like a round in favour of Chiefs as they find themselves in a 1-on-2 here. All left up to Pex.
All to do for Pex, and he's just sitting there in at the brown horse, just gets his way down the low ramp there, comes face to face with Zusi, both blind, firing at each other there, and I guess that was almost a victimless crime, like punching someone in the dark, but no one really knows what's going on. If you get your Simpsons reference, you'll love that one.
That was bad. Alright, onto the eco.
Well, we can see the Exile5 have opted to fully eco here. So, I mean, they didn't get a plant last round. Maybe the mindset is if they can get a bomb plant down this round somehow. I mean, there are lots of little hidey holes and whatnot and ways of zigzagging towards the bomb site at A. If they could get a bomb plant, it would give them that opportunity to perhaps invest in AKs and a few utility grenades next round for that early buy. So maybe that's the mindset. But as it is, Chris O'Well will get tested. He is playing close behind the blue train in that 6 aisle, as we do refer to it. He has got 2 frags and is doing a good job at the moment of really stopping them in their tracks and raking in the money bonus that the SMGs do provide. So good work by Chris there. And good work by all of Chiefs, keeping it nice and clean because they've had a bit of trouble tonight. I think 6 anti-ecos the stat is currently at.
Do you currently have a gale blowing at your household? Because there's some feedback coming through on your mic.
Chris is a heavy breather, is the answer to that question.
He really enjoys his Counter-Strike, is what we're trying to say.
But we can see Exile5 here. They are on eco again. I suspect that this round will probably be just as easy as the last was for them. We can see this time they have tried to roll the dice a little bit, try their success at inside. It will give, I shouldn't say I guess, but it will give Pietro and Lightstep really their first test of action here with a few stronger weapons in their hand than they had on the pistol round. You can see all 5 members of Exile5 making their way there. Can they hold strong?
I think it'll be a matter of time before Petty G or the Bank of Atletico is tested. It does take 3. Money in the coffers. Doesn't quite take the second But Lightstep there to, or should I say fourth, but Lightstep there to just clean things up, making himself a healthy bankroll for that round, $2,700 as a result of those frags. And coming into the gun round, that's handy cash.
Chris, what are your thoughts on using the Mag 7 as an anti-eco weapon?
I don't mind it, depending on the positions. If you're in a position to use it and then die, it's fine. But when you have to rotate with it and move around with it, I don't like it at all. I'm really interested to see what the T's do, because they haven't thrown a single grenade, smoke, or flash yet this map, and they've got set up for some. They got three set up here, so let's see what they smoke.
We can see they clearly had something in mind, but meanwhile, Chiefs wanting to get information of their own because they pushed 2 members through the brown halls there at the B side, and Tux, with a nice little double, gets Pex and Dans, cops the collateral damage as well. But I think of the information that Chiefs got, it allowed them to really send extra forces to the A bomb site to help the defense there. But Tux doesn't need any help as he grabs his third for the round. Can he get the fourth? He can, and continuing off on the success there, had a Mirage doing a fantastic job there of locking down the A bomb site and certainly giving X5 nightmares to come.
Great double.
See,
Let you finish.
Yeah, what I was going to say is Chiefs are playing really, really passive. I know it's only the first gun round, they probably wouldn't have known that, but what Exile5 need to do is basically throw similar smokes, but they just need to get the bomb planted and then get out. Let them try and rotate and retake with those AWPs and Mag 7s. They tried to fight then and it just didn't work.
You can see that Tux, I like this variation in the sense that he's now brought that AWP inside, so they're showing quite a variety of playstyles here on Train. They have had success on it. You can start to see why as they're very efficient at manipulating their defense around the map to keep the T's guessing. All of a sudden, it's all left up to Ferg, and with the bomb down in small ladder, or SL, as they might refer to it in the heat of the moment later on, it's going to be very difficult from him for here on out. He has got one though, Jim.
He has got one, and he's showing no gun models at the moment, so really just playing Quake 3 tournament mode as he's now going to try and make his way, pick up this first frag in this 1v2. Now they have split themselves between the inside and the outside bomb sites, or A and B for those of you who are a little bit more new school. This does make his way down that SL, as Nick referred to it earlier. Now, doesn't know the position of any of the CTs, and this is where it gets really dangerous in these sort of situations because he has a lot of angles to try and check, and Zeus's going to be smart. Ooh. Chris is going to be really smart about this. Does catch him out, but it's a really tough place to plant because you have so many places to check. I reckon inside bomb site there would have been the better bet, just knowing that you had to try and locate a single CT in that entire map or entire site. Highly unlikely.
We can see the Exile5 here. They can, of course, now afford to buy. They have got that AWP in the hands of STV. I think it might have been another member who bought it for him because he couldn't afford it for himself. So sharing the wealth, they are now trying to take towards T-Com. But as Chris has already pointed out, it can be hard to get an early pick sometimes depending on your spawn. The smokes will come over. STV doing a great job there of catching Chris off guard in the 6th aisle. But Zeusy waiting beneath the ladder, and as they come down like firemen, he's just dropped 2 where they were. All of a sudden, Chiefs really taking control of his outside sight, but X5 doing their best to try and turn this round around. They have got 2 frags for themselves. STV does spot out that last remaining member at the outside bomb site and light step behind that green train there at 6th aisle. He is now forced to reposition himself, and as he does that, he does get taken down. So great work here by X5 recovering the round. And Tux, the last surviving member, he's in the SL room, does get 1 frag, but I think sitting on top of the bomb there, they were forced to turn around and take that battle with him to recover it. Great job there by X5 winning that round.
Yeah, more importantly, getting themselves on the board, and they are going to be able to rebuy there. As we see STV just hold on to that AWP too, which is a key feature of their game, so they're going to be looking to him to try and open up the round as he did last round, picking up Chris in the 6th aisle there quite early on in the piece. Chiefs though playing very passive this round. Tux winning that battle now as STV's AWP does fall. And geez, just happy to sit on that grenade there that flew through the vines or ivy area, if you may be more accustomed to that. Pex though, getting light step, not necessarily needing to push for information, but doing so anyway, as they are going to have to try and regroup here. That bomb is going to make its way through the white halls towards that inside site potentially, though they don't really have too much information what's going on.
Chris, what do you make of this so far? They've lost a couple of early members here, X5. They're now regrouping towards the B bomb side. I mean, where has it fallen apart for them?
Just earlier, like I said, they just don't have the correct smokes to do what they want to do. They need to identify what Chiefs are doing and then just try and play around it. They don't put enough pressure on inside. I know they're going in now, and they're lucky that they've got a 3v1, which shouldn't happen. I don't know what Chiefs are doing there, but like they should pressure or take the inside zone at least first, and then go to their outside stuff if they're going to play this picky side kind of style.
Well, as is, the bomb has been planted now, so Tux does a good job there of taking down the first member and third, but there's 2 more to follow. But I think as Dan's was almost distracted by the presence of Tux there at high ramp, Chriso was able to close the distance and drop him, so they do a great job in recovering that round there after the bomb being planted. Chriso, just to go back to what you were saying there, Chris, you were talking about potentially taking control of that brown halls area that we see Zeusy in at the end of the round there, and really, from an early on standpoint, putting some pressure there so that Chiefs are forced to play 2 inside, I think was what you were saying.
Yeah, like it's not hard for Exile5 to send 2 or 3 guys straight into inside at the beginning of the round and just throw like a basic flash down the ramp or something. That'll force Pietro to use his resources at inside. He'll then go to a passive position. He'll probably call for a rotator and get some help, and then they can do their outside stuff. Like by just going YOLO what they're doing now, it just shouldn't work. It may work, but it shouldn't work.
They've managed to do a good job in the sense that they've got out vines and they have taken a detour around towards CT spawn, so the good use of the smokes there has helped almost get by without taking too much damage on board. Pietro has pushed through the B site, but before he knows it, he's going to need to double back because that's exactly where the terrorists are heading here. They've taken the longest possible route to heads. Actually drops Lightstep there as he's mid-air, so it's a bit of a chaotic round, so to speak, as we do see Pietro now coming exactly where he started and finishes the job inside there with a nice frag onto Diggs. But as it was, Lightstep the only member to fall, so it wasn't too costly. It just seemed a little bit more chaotic given the path that the terrorists chose to take.
Definitely a path of chaos, that's for sure. As they arrived on that inside site with nobody there other than the Chiefs defenders in that CT connector. Now they are on a buy round here once again. And I'm just going to split that outside site. As you see, they have 3 members streaking towards Vines. They are going to be met with a push though, and Pex does get the trade. So picking up the double there. They are going to push quite heavily onto this outside site. Ferg picking up another frag onto Tux in the CT con. And things have really opened up here for XL5 in this outside site. The bomb will go down as Lightstep makes his way across that old bomb train there, as it's called. Does get picked up and traded quite quickly there. And just now Pietro with his favoured gun, the AWP, as you might say, Nick.
Well, he's in a 1-on-3 situation. I think he spots out 1 member, but I think suspects that it's probably a lost cause in the sense that the bomb's already ticking away and they're now obviously aware of his position given the gunfire noise that he just made. So he'll be looking to save that for next round, hopefully to give it into the trustworthy hands of Tux, but you can see he hasn't run very far with the pressure that they're putting on him. He makes a nice little shot there, but needs to make a few more, I feel, to stay alive here, and in the end does get taken down by Peck. So nice work from XL5. Chris, I was surprised with their choice of attack there on the A site in the sense that they sent 3 members very quickly towards the Vines Isle. Suddenly that's, I think, quite unorthodox within the scene. Normally you see either small ladder or T-Con exploited a bit more from a terrorist perspective in my eyes.
Hey, that's a reason because of the way Tux has been AWPing from the back of that Vine sort of lane, and he's just basically picking them off. So I think they wanted to close the gap and get right in his face, so he just can't AWP down to T-Con like he has been. But I really just want... I mean, Pete's been inside solo at least 4 rounds in a row now with the Mag 7, and they're just not punishing him at all. They need to make him accountable for what he's doing. And he's winning them the game. I know Pete's last on the scoreboard, people are going to give him shit, but he's actually winning them the game here by default because they're just not punishing him.
He's able to lock down that inside bomb site.
That's right, just affords the team that opportunity to make that A defense so much stronger, doesn't it, when you can have 4 members there. And when you're talking about the talent that this lineup possesses, when you're having 4 of those sort of guys like your Zeusis and your Tuxes in one site, it can be a formidable opponent to try and take down. XL5 giving it their best shot at the moment. They have managed to get 2 frags this round, but Zeusy, not known for his auto-sniping skills, perhaps he ought to be as he takes down Ferg through a wall, mind you, and keeps that weapon for himself for next round.
Heavy investment there, though, coming in with that DAC, as we like to call it here in Australia. I'd be interested to hear what the names are for it around the globe.
I think DAC's pretty consistent. Chris, what did the Americans refer to it as?
Auto sniper.
Oh, how boring is that?
Oh, the orbital sniper.
Oh dear. Well, Tux has managed at the first frag there onto Pex, so he's continuing his good form, and Christo doing a great job as well at Vines. Of course, they are on eco, and we spoke about the Dak or Auto Sniper, whatever you so choose. Well, Zeusie's put it to good use as well with another 2 frags, and Chiefs seemingly running away with it at the moment. And really, hats off to Pietro for almost allowing Chiefs that, I guess, opportunity to play 4 members outside without any sort of repercussions at the moment.
That's right. He's doing a great job of locking it down. Be interested to see whether or not Ferg tries to change the tempo here with a more concentrated inside push, which looks to be what they might be attempting here as they send 3 members there. They do send them out SL though, so it is going to be outside, and that is exactly where 4 members of Chiefs are sitting and waiting. As Chriso does a good job of strafing his way through. Tux picking up a nice little frag there onto Ferg. Nick, you got really excited about something
I
there.
thought Christo got a second frag there through the wall or something. I just lost my... Ignore me. As you were.
I just might have spilt another bit of vitamin water on your mouse pad.
No, order has been restored in the Noodle household, but I think at the moment, I don't like to point fingers, but if we have a quick look at the scoreboard, Diggs, it's not a promising figure there, 0-11.
Closely
Assists,
followed by
though.
STV.
Which isn't much worse than STV's 1 for 11 with no assists.
I think
What
STV
would you
will be
prefer?
miles happier with his score as it
They
currently
are
stands.
trying inside though. This is the one round they do actually have 2 people in though. Tux picks up the first with that AWP. Pietro driving by with that Mag 7. Tux with another handy shot on the second. Picks up the third as well. He's going absolutely bananas in that inside sight.
That's just where it's obvious though. Like, you've just gone out, what, probably 5-6 rounds in a row. He's got absolutely slammed. You're like, okay, let's try inside. CTs are like, oh, they'll probably go inside. They haven't been inside since pistol round. So they have 2 inside. They rush inside. They get slammed, and now Exile5 are wondering what they're going to do. And I'd just like to point out, they got a coach. I don't actually know who that is or what he's doing, but they need to be calling a timeout, surely, to address what's going on.
Well, we haven't actually seen a timeout at all tonight from any team, and this is, I guess, the 4th map in which we've had the opportunity to cast, so it's been very unusual in that sense. I'm not sure what's going on amongst the ranks with the players, but Chiefs certainly doing a magnificent job at the moment of exploiting the fact that perhaps X5 are in need of a tactical discussion amongst themselves, because they're just shutting down everything that's being thrown at them at the moment. And when players like Zeusy are feeling it and have the confidence to pull out auto snipers and put them to good use as well, it's a really worrying sign for Exile5.
And only 3 members of XL5 remain. They finally catch Pietro there on the inside side and are going to stream down that low ramp there, or at least I believe so, as that bomb is going to go down this side. Oh, Pex with a great little AWP shot to open things up. His teammate, though, is traded quite quickly by Tux, who's just locking things down in that side, and now a lot of work to do. Dance stops Zeusy there from pouncing on him with the auto sniper, Dak, you name it, whatever it's called, the elephant gun. Well, I'm not too sure, but either way, it's now 12-2 the score. XL5 in trouble this half.
Chris, is it too late to... I think we've noticed over the last couple of days that Renegades are quick to shut the door on, I guess, the dreams of the comeback. Is it too late for XL5 here, from your perspective?
Yep, far too late.
Thank
They
you, Chris.
should have called a timeout when it was, what, 8-2. 8-2 is when I would have called it.
What's your general rule, Chris? As the current coach of Renegades, when do you like to... Do you have a set rule that you normally abide by as we see the parrot coming out?
Yeah, we do. Just give me a second to think whether I'll reveal it or not.
Okay, well,
Hang on
as
a
it
sec.
is, you give that a thought. Of course, we don't want to be giving away too many trade secrets here from Team Renegades. We really appreciate both Chad and Gomez giving up their time the last couple of days here to really give you guys an insight, not just into perhaps some of the happenings that we're seeing in the counterpit matches here this fantastic season, but also perhaps some of the insights into some of the workings of just themselves and some other teams on the international scene, which is something we certainly appreciate. So 13-2, Chiefs do win out the half in the end, and they'll be looking to make quick work of the second half, I feel. Maybe, Chris, instead of perhaps divulging the hidden recipe, the Colonel Sanders recipe for timeouts, maybe just as a general guide for someone out there in terms of those up-and-coming teams in the Australian or Oceanic scenes, in terms of if they're asking themselves when to, is it perhaps if they start to find that rounds are going by too quickly, if they've lost 5 or 6 in a row, perhaps that might be a good time, or any advice perhaps for the youngcomers?
We used to do it by vibe, and we've actually just changed recently to a set number of rounds.
Okay.
That if we're behind, that we take a pause, and that's I'll tell you why after this pistol. 'Cause this will be more interesting than the ecos.
I think you're quite right here. We can see Chiefs. They are setting up for an inside attack. Interested to see what Pietro might be up to, though, because he is positioned at Vines on a little bit of alert there, so watch out for some late round chaos from himself. But the rest of his teammates will funnel now down into the B side. Good use of a smoke grenade will allow the bomb to be planted, but Pex doing a great job there of putting that USP to good use. Has got 2, make it 3 for the round, and I pointed out the lurk roll of Pietro. Well, I wasn't expecting him to have to go 1v4, and STV put an end to that very quickly. Nice round there by Exile5, 13-3.
People are going to laugh at me but that was actually a really nice pistol round by Chiefs. So just a little bit.
Yeah, they executed that perfectly.
Like
Chris.
even the place to where they planted it way in the open, in the middle of a smoke, which would actually make that clutch really easy for Pete. If he only had to kill 1, 2, or even 3, but 5 was just too many, and they just didn't get any kills. It wasn't chaotic enough.
Yeah,
but I really like that.
Zusi got caught out with his on the reload actually after firing only 2 bullets. So maybe some reload discipline needed there from him.
Well, we haven't seen Diggs frag at all this map. Could this be the moment? It is the moment. He is on the scoreboard there. He takes down Chris O'Well. So welcome to the match, Diggs. It's been a bit of a tough night for him so far, but his team doing a good job here of shutting down the eco round here of Team Chiefs. You can see that they did invest in a few P250s. Quite dangerous as well if given the chance. So I think Diggs will be happy that he did not just get that frag, but stop that inside push before it really began.
Oh, he's on fire. He's got his second frag.
He's exploding here. He's actually got 2 for the round, and could we see a 3rd for Diggs? I'm looking at the overlay at the moment. Unfortunately, Pietro is over at Vine, so Diggs, it's trying to be a bit of a footwork to get that way, but unfortunately STV has just stolen Diggs' 3rd frag. It's not good to see.
No, look, they're going to need all cylinders firing here if they're going to come back in this match, and certainly key players like STV and Diggs are going to need to contribute on this CT side, as we see Chiefs actually go for a gun round option here. They do have smokes, flashes, and the whatnot, and they are heavy in this White Horse control. So they're going to send members streaking down those stairs. Lightstep just selling a bit of a fake for his team outside here, but in the meantime, they have found Pex inside there. He does cop a little bit of damage before he's able to get away. More importantly, relinquishing control of those brown halls and just allowing Chiefs a little bit more freedom and room to breathe.
But they've done what Chris has been suggesting in the sense that they've put that early pressure on the inside site and forced 2 members of the CTs to, I guess, have their presence there. Now, it's up to Chiefs to decide whether they'd like to fall back to A, of course, or commit to B. But at least they've managed to spread the defenses of Team XL5 at the moment. They are in a 4-on-4, and I guess with only 4 members alive for XL5, they're going to have to make some sacrifices in terms of which choke points they do and don't cover. You can see Food here, I think, falling back to just try and consolidate his position a bit more, recognising that support will be a little bit further away, but they will head towards the B side. Chris O'Well does spot out one behind the bomb tray, but takes a little bit of damage, but the trades are going in favour of Chiefs as Zusi and Tux get 1 apiece. The bomb will now get planted, and I guess in a 3-on-2 situation here, Food and STV, one of them is going to need to make some magic happen here if this comeback story is going to continue. You can see Tux using the smoke to his advantage, catching one member of the form of STV off guard, but Food does make the trade kill. We're down to a 1v1. You can see that Chriso, that Molotov that he did lay down, stalls Ferg's progress temporarily. Does tap the bomb, has a little bit of time left. I think Chriso suspecting that something's a bit astray. Doesn't peek, so that'll really upset Ferg. Doesn't finish the job though when he does peek in the end, but all too easy for him as the bomb timer starts to tick down. Ferg, of course, had to commit to the bomb, and Chriso finishes the job. And all of a sudden, they're only 2 rounds away from what would be a much-needed victory for them tonight.
XL5 are going to force the buy here though, so they are going to compete in this round. Diggs picking up that AWP. He is the team's secondary AWPer, so maybe he's vibing that a little bit more, as we didn't see it from him in the first half.
I think that line I was talking about in the pre-match, where the CTs have a massive advantage just in the way the models work, and also the time you get there just makes it so much easier for CTs to AWP that shot.
Diggs does find it. 1 shot at least through the smoke anyway, and Tux is going to use that smoke push position as Pex is doing a great job for his team just holding inside there. Diggs does actually find another frag with that AWP, so faring better with the AWP now this half, and he's going to need to continue to fire if he's going to bring this team back into it.
Yeah, I just want to point out Peck's on the scoreboard as well. It's something we probably haven't given too much credit to tonight, but he's got 22 frags at the moment. This is something we've seen from them this season, hasn't it? Where he's been that consistent fragger, really, regardless of what the match outcome has been for Exile5. He's been putting up numbers everywhere. So I know he's a young up-and-coming talent. He's just been handpicked really from the lower grade, really making a name for himself very quickly here in Division 1. So it's nice to see new talent into the scene. You do see Chiefs here on Eco, and they've made their way into the side. They've actually managed to do a 1-for-1 trade, so they'll be quietly happy with that. And they've managed to push quite deeply into the side as well. Diggs gets caught off guard by Chris, so the bomb has been planted, but all of a sudden it's just Tux, the last remaining member, has caught one, needs to get two more, and he shows his back there, I think suspecting that perhaps the flank was real, but not to know, of course, with the overlay that they were both in front of him. In any case, quite a lot of damage done, though, by Team Chiefs there.
Yeah, taking down 3 guns in that instance and just pushing Exile5 a little bit further in terms of economic hardship. But they, of course, will be able to buy out this round. If they do, however, lose this round, they will be in dire straits.
The silence is deafening.
Teams have gone for absolutely nothing. No grenades, no extra pistols, and that's what happens.
We've just seen a quad red. I think they were contributing to what was a fantastic moment of Counter-Strike just then, Chris. Please do not undermine their strategy calling, because that was fantastic to see from an X5 perspective there as Dan's just got the coordinate onto T-Com. But I think perhaps recognising, Chris, would you say that they had that many rounds to play with in the bank that there was no need or no rush for them to force buy, which you've already seen them fall into that pit tonight?
Not necessarily force buy, but I really feel like as a T, even if you're not going to force buy, you need to keep economic pressure on the CTs. You can't allow them to get these 5-kill sort of rounds and allow them to always have rifles, always have Molotovs, kits, head armor, grenades. Like, just get some P250s and rush in like they did last round. They would have got another 2 kills. They just need put more pressure on.
I can say they're certainly putting the pressure on this round because they have charged towards the outside bomb side at A. They've got 2 frags so far. Tux whiffs his shot there. He eventually gets the job done, but made it look a lot more difficult than it should have been. The bomb is now planted, of course. We're in a 1-2 situation. Pietro. Oh, the smoke is just not going to aid Diggs in that case, where blocks off his vision, can't cover his teammate, and Pietro in a 1-on-2, but is taken down by Diggs. So we might have pointed out that he had a below average first half. We're certainly trying to do his best to make up for it here as he closes out that 1-on-1. Actually a 4K as well for him in that round as well. So doing a good job of keeping his team's hopes alive.
I wasn't watching from Diggs' point of view. Did he even fake that defuse?
No, committed to it completely.
To what, defusing?
Yes.
And then he warped Pete.
Oh, no, you're talking about Diggs, sorry, in the 1-1?
Yeah.
I thought you meant his teammate there.
No, Diggs. I don't think
Diggs
he
did
even tapped
fake
it.
I thought he did.
I think he did actually tap it. Pietro there, just botching his flash out of vines. Didn't actually blind Diggs at all. But nonetheless, Exile5 working that frag there. Tux finally finding an opening on this outside side. Pietro, interesting choice of gun there. Heavy investment from him. As he doesn't actually have the armor either, so a name punch will be a very real factor here. He does pick up a frag, so taking a lot of damage though from STV over at Vines, and geez, Negev, interesting buy as we said, but obviously a missed buy there from him as he foregoes armor in that round. But nonetheless, they're making it work because they have now a 2-man advantage, and they are going to stream into this inside bomb site. STV though, is he going to be aware of a lurk? Zusi does pick him up on the outside site, and it's all been an elaborate ruse, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to take this bomb outside.
Great use of the utility there. I love that Molotov in small ladder room. You can see as Diggs comes down, he's going to be met with flames in his face and actually has to go straight back up the ladder because he was taking damage. Got down to 9 HP there as a result, but great work there by Chiefs, exploiting the rotations there from Team Exile5 as you're talking about, and in the end walked into an empty A bomb site on the back of a nice frag there by Zusi. 15-8, 7 match points here for Chiefs. They'll be looking to close it out as soon as possible, obviously, and finally get a win on their board tonight. You can see Exile5, they can afford to buy a lot of strong weaponry still on the back of having won a few rounds in a row there. And I like this nifty little boost. I'm wondering whether Zusi's actually going to commit and jump up on that box in front of him. He has potentially the opportunity to catch STV off guard here. Of course, not to know that, but We will see him jumping up, and as he checks down below him, he does have the peace of mind. Very intelligent work there by the youngster. STV goes down, and we're down in a 4-on-4 situation.
That's it, and Dancers get great position, actually, opting to push that smoke, picking up Pietro in the meantime, but they are going to streak out of this T-Con. Now, Chriso, not normally an AWPer, does leg Ferg in the SL, and now all to do a 2v4 situation for Lightstep and Zeusy. Lightstep does find Dans at Vines, and now will smoke onto that bomb train and let his teammate out as well, so that bomb will go down. Ferg's HP is going to be a massive factor here as he just charges along that 5 train. Does do a little bit of damage to Lightstep, but they are navigating those smokes quite well. Zeusy doing great work here as Lightstep picks up another frag, and will now have to go 1v1 with Pex, potentially for this game, as they're going to dart around this bomb train. Playing a massive game of hide-and-go-seek. Finally, Lightstep closes it out, and that is 2-0 to score to Chiefs. And finally, something to be a little bit more happy about, I'd say, for the Chiefs camp.
Yeah, what did you make of it, Chris? What are your initial thoughts looking back at that 2-0 there? We obviously saw Chiefs coming out victorious, but, I mean, positives or to take away from the team there?
Yeah, I guess so. The positives would be that they got the best 2 maps they could have possibly got, and they won maps they should have won. We don't know why they were losing, but I just feel like they had too much homework on the other teams, and potentially they didn't have enough, or they didn't have anything on Exile5, and they just played sort of standard, natural Counter-Strike, and then just outskilled them, which is what I think everyone was expecting Chiefs to do all season to most, if not all, the teams, bar Immunity. So too little too late, though, because I think that 2-0 now ensures that Immunity, barring a mega collapse, is probably going to be the counterfeit champion.
It looks like it. I think in terms of the mats, counterfeit champion. I don't know what you're talking about. Counterpit.
Counterpit. Is that the tournament we're playing?
Yes, Chris. Just to clarify. But no, I think in terms of the context of the championship as it stands, Immunity have one final game remaining against Vox Seminole on the final night of competition. If they're to win that, they will be guaranteed to get that trip to Croatia. The only team now, given that Exile5 has lost tonight, as well as Chiefs, they lost their first match against Vox. The only team that can challenge Immunity for the spot of going overseas, as I understand, is Vox Seminole, potentially even Legacy if a few results fall their way, but I think it's going to require a slip up from Immunity, otherwise they look to be the team that will be going overseas.
I think that is very much the case. As we said, it is Immunity's to lose, so they are really in pole position here, and obviously we still have 2 more nights of Counterpit matches to play and 2 double headers ahead of us, so I believe the next match, if I just check the little schedule there, will be Chiefs versus Legacy tomorrow night, kicking us off, and then we go into Vox Seminole versus Exile5 as well. So I'm certainly pumped for that, and so should everybody else. It's been a good night of Counter-Strike action, as we've seen. Of course, we thank none other than the coach of Renegades, Gomez, for joining us in the hot seat tonight and offering his insight into a lot of rounds there, where not often you get to hear the inside of a team's coach, so certainly extending thanks to you for that.
No problems at all. Looking at the groups, if Vox Seminole 2-0 them, they would obviously win the group.
Assuming they can win their other games, yeah.
Yeah, so Immunity in the driving seat, but they were in the driving seat for Face It, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah,
so,
I think your team ended their dreams, if I recall correctly, Chris.
Yeah.
I think that loss to Renegades on the final day actually ended their hopes. So
yeah, well, we're not in this tournament, so Vox Seminole, being the old, I guess, Renegades, will need to channel that energy.
That's right. So there's still lots to play for. There's still lots to play for. The results are either way. We've got 2 more cracking nights coming your way. So join us from the same time tomorrow. It will be 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time or 10 a.m. Central European Time, I do understand. So until next time, thank you very much. Of course, I've been one of your casters tonight in the way of PK Noodle. You can follow myself on Twitter if you so choose at PK Noodle. I've been joined here tonight by my regular counterpart, Jim Nesso. You can follow him on Twitter at Deep Gimpact. And of course, as we've already said, thank you so much to Gomez from Team Renegades, the coach. You can follow him on Twitter at RNG Coach Gomez. Though you already should be doing that because they are an internationally travelled team and they always have lots of interesting things to say and quirky little Twitter profile pictures and all that sort of nonsense. So keep an eye out for those guys. But until next time, thank you so much and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.